Liberia, from devastation to resilience. Imagine a nation grappling with decades of war, where survival was a daily battle, yet hope never flickered out. Liberia's story of civil wars and recovery is a poignant narrative of unimaginable loss, interwoven with the unyielding determination to rebuild and heal. Spanning years of conflict, Liberia's journey reflects the worst of humanity's divisions and the best of its perseverance. It is a testament to how, even amid despair, people can rise, reclaim their future, and redefine their identity as a nation. Liberia's civil wars and the path to recovery. The story of Liberia's civil wars is a harrowing yet resilient tale of struggle, devastation, and ultimate recovery. It is a testament to the human capacity to endure the darkest of times and strive for hope and healing. This narrative unfolds over decades, marked by political intrigue, ethnic tensions, international intervention, and an unwavering desire for peace. Origins of the conflict. The seeds of Liberia's turmoil were sown long before the outbreak of war in 1989. Founded in 1847 by freed African Americans under the auspices of the American Colonization Society, Liberia became a symbol of freedom for many. However, the arrival of Americo-Liberians created deep divisions between settlers and the indigenous population. The Americo-Liberians, though a minority, dominated the country's politics, economy, and social structures for over a century. The indigenous majority, marginalized and excluded from meaningful participation in governance, harbored resentment. By the late 20th century, these historical grievances, compounded by economic stagnation and corruption, created fertile ground for rebellion. Samuel Doe's 1980 coup, which ended Americo-Liberian dominance, brought promises of equality, but his authoritarian regime soon alienated allies and exacerbated ethnic tensions. The First Civil War, 1989 to 1997. On December 24, 1989, Charles Taylor, a former government official turned rebel leader, crossed into Liberia from Côte d'Ivoire with a small band of fighters. His National Patriotic Front of Liberia, NPFL, sought to overthrow Doe and seize power. As the rebellion gained momentum, the country descended into chaos. Ethnic divisions deepened, with Doe's Kron tribe pitted against the Geo and Mano peoples, who largely supported Taylor. The conflict spiraled as factions splintered. One of the most notorious offshoots, the Independent National Patriotic Front of Liberia, INPFL, led by Prince Johnson, captured and brutally executed Doe in 1990. His gruesome death, videotaped and broadcast globally, epitomized the war's brutality. Monrovia, the capital, became a battleground. Civilians bore the brunt of the violence, with mass killings, child soldiers, and widespread displacement becoming hallmarks of the conflict. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, intervened, deploying a peacekeeping force, ECOMOG, to stabilize the region. However, the war dragged on, with Taylor controlling most of the countryside and rival factions contesting his authority. By 1997, weary of war, Liberians went to the polls. Charles Taylor, leveraging his reputation as the de facto ruler of much of Liberia, won the presidency. His infamous campaign slogan, "He killed my ma, he killed my pa, but I will vote for him," reflected the nation's desperation for peace, even at a high cost. The Second Civil War, 1999 to 2003. Taylor's presidency did little to heal Liberia's wounds. His regime was marked by corruption, repression, and continued meddling in the affairs of neighboring countries, particularly Sierra Leone's brutal civil war. His support for the Revolutionary United Front RUF rebels in Sierra Leone drew international condemnation and sanctions, further isolating Liberia. In 1999, the Second Liberian Civil War began. Two rebel groups, the Liberians United for Reconciliation and Democracy, LURD, and later the Movement for Democracy in Liberia, MODEL, launched offensives against Taylor's government. Backed by Guinea and Côte d'Ivoire, respectively, the rebels quickly gained ground. The violence reached catastrophic levels. Monrovia, under siege, became a humanitarian disaster zone. The civilian population, caught between government forces and rebels, suffered immense hardship. Starvation, disease, and atrocities were rampant. International media broadcast harrowing images of child soldiers armed with AK-47s, their lives irrevocably altered by war. The fall of Charles Taylor. In 2003, the pressure on Taylor mounted. Rebels closed in on Monrovia, and international demands for his resignation grew louder. U.S. President George W. Bush, among others, called for Taylor to step down. Facing an untenable situation, Taylor resigned on August 11, 2003, and accepted asylum in Nigeria. A comprehensive peace agreement signed in Accra, Ghana, brought an end to the fighting. The agreement established a transitional government and paved the way for democratic elections. The United Nations deployed one of its largest peacekeeping missions, the United Nations Mission in Liberia, UNMIL, to oversee disarmament and reconstruction, the path to recovery. The 2005 elections marked a turning point in Liberia's history. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, an economist and former World Bank official, became Africa's first elected female president. Her election symbolized hope and a break from the country's violent past. Sirleaf's administration prioritized rebuilding institutions, restoring basic services, and fostering national reconciliation. Disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, DDR, programs targeted former combatants, including thousands of child soldiers. Infrastructure projects rebuilt schools, roads, and hospitals destroyed during the wars. However, the scars of conflict remained, with many Liberians struggling to reconcile with the horrors they had endured. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission, TRC, was established to address human rights violations and promote healing. While its recommendations sparked debate, the TRC provided a platform for survivors to share their stories and confront the legacy of war. Challenges and resilience. Liberia's recovery has not been without setbacks. High unemployment, pervasive poverty, and corruption continue to challenge progress. The Ebola outbreak in 2014 further tested the nation's resilience, claiming thousands of lives and straining the health system. Yet, Liberians have demonstrated remarkable strength. Civil society organizations, youth groups, and women's movements have played critical roles in promoting peace and accountability. The country has held successive democratic elections, solidifying its commitment to a peaceful future. A hopeful future. Today, Liberia stands as a symbol of recovery. While the scars of war are still visible, so too is the determination of its people to build a better future. Monrovia's streets buzz with activity, schools are filled with children, and markets hum with commerce. The story of Liberia's civil wars is one of profound tragedy, but also of resilience. It is a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable suffering, the human spirit can prevail, lighting the way toward healing, justice, and hope.